Hello everyone, this is Sriram Chuturi, and today I'm excited to present my project titled Streaming Wars. Are streaming platforms killing the movie theater experience? Over the past decade, the way we consume movies has undergone a massive shift. This project explores the competition, or perhaps coexistence between streaming services and theaters, and provides a balanced, data-driven view of how these changes would impact accessibility, business, creativity, and the future of cinema itself. Using a wide range of articles, opinions, and industry trends, we try to understand how these two worlds are shaping the modern entertainment. Now, moving on to the next slide, which introduces what exactly we try to solve and how the entertainment industry has been a dramatic transformation in recent years. Streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime have moved on from being a secondary options to becoming the main way people watch movies and shows. Once upon a time, movie night meant buying tickets and going to theater. Today, it just often means picking play at home. COVID-19 pandemic made this shift even faster, as public health concerns forced theaters to close while streaming thrived. While streaming brings incredible convenience, it also raises important questions. What are we losing along the way? What happens to the cultural, artistic, and communal incredible convenience? It also raises important other topics. Uh, whether are we conveniently watching these films together on the big screen? So theaters are more than just entertainment venues. They are spaces for community gathering, economic support, and preserving cinematic traditions. Moving forward, the real challenge will be a balance. Like you need to find a balance in embracing new innovations without letting go of magic that theaters can offer. Moving on to the research goals. Our project had four major goals. First, to explore how audiences feel about the ease of accessing movies today. Streaming brought cinemas into our living rooms, but has it made movie watching less special? Second, to look closely at the financial impact, not just on the major studios, but also on small theaters, workers, and local businesses who rely on the theater goers or audiences. Third, we want to understand how artistic quality is perceived. Are movies still seen as prestigious art forms when they debut instantly online, or they risk being treated like a disposable content? And fourth, we want to explore the future. Will theaters survive? Will we see hybrid models where major releases appear both on online and in cinemas at once, which we are currently seeing in few of the areas? That's a that's an area to explore. Moving on to the raw and clean data set slide, where we actually discuss about the data gathering and cleaning aspects. To answer these questions, we gathered thousands of articles and reviews using news APIs and custom web scraping. We specifically targeted diverse sources, mainstream outlets, entertainment blogs, industry focused journalism or news articles to ensure a wide range of perspectives. After gathering the text, we cleaned the data carefully, removing special characters, repeated phrases, and any unrelated words. Think of it like clearing the static from the reader signal. We only want the clear and useful information. Finally, we structured the clean data into formats that models could easily process. This step allowed us to look for deeper patterns and common themes, which became the backbone for the rest of our analysis. So, the first unsupervised learning technique that we are going to discuss is about clustering. We started by grouping similar articles together, and this process is known as clustering. Imagine organizing thousands of movie reviews into buckets based on what they talk about. That's all about clustering. Both statistical methods we used, the Silhouette score and the elbow method, agreed that the best groups or number of groups was four, which is directly in sync with or in line with how many sub themes that we actually scraped. Then we visualized these groups using a 3D plotting technique. We saw distinct clusters emerging, each representing a major theme in the conversation. Interestingly, a few articles didn't fit perfectly into any one of the group, reminding us that the public opinion is very random and overlapping, just like real life. Another technique called hierarchical clustering added more depth, revealing how some teams branched off from broader discussions. This multi layered view allowed us to see how audiences' feelings about streaming and theaters naturally divide into different areas of consumption. So, in order to deep dive into the patterns, what data actually tries to say, we actually went with another unsupervised learning technique, which is a topic modeling using latent Dirichlet allocation, which is one of the popular techniques. This technique helps find hidden topics that frequently appear in the conversations that we scraped or we extracted. So we discovered five major themes. The first one is discussions around traditional film releases and the box office, still seen as a gold standard by many. Even second and third conversations about business models, financial impacts, and how technologies like artificial intelligence are reshaping the industry. Fourth, there was a lot of talk about the streaming habits, people appreciating the ability to binge watch shows and movies from their couches. And fifth, emerging discussions about how theaters are trying to fight back with innovations like immersive experiences, premium seating, and special screenings. Through this lens, we saw clearly that audiences are not simply picking sides, they are engaging in a rich, complex dialogue about how entertainment should actually evolve. In order to further understand patterns and to predict the sentiments of their views, we used decision tree modeling as a benchmark, as a key modeling technique to predict how a particular article leaned, whether it's a pro streaming or pro theater, based on the language it used. We used a model called decision tree. You think of it like a flowchart that makes prediction based on certain keywords. And it goes on dividing it, the tree branches out based on the views or based on the keywords. Words like streaming, Netflix, and industry played crucial roles in predictions. The full detailed tree captured small but meaningful language differences, whereas trimmed down trees with fewer layers offered clearer, more easily explainable rules. Overall, decision trees help us achieve around like 67% accuracy, decent for natural language tasks, and offered valuable insight into how wording reflects sentiment. Moving on to another key machine learning technique, which is a supervised learning technique, is support vector machines. To further improve prediction, we used a more advanced method called support vector machines or SVM. Without diving too much into technicalities, think of SVM as a best invisible line that separates different groups based on the patterns in the data. We found using a flexible nonlinear version of SVM that gave best results, achieving almost 70% accuracy. Unlike simpler methods, SVM handled the messy, high dimensional nature of the real world text much better because a text or a sentence or a paragraph is not a simple or very small or less than 100 dimensional. It can have actually more than 10,000 dimensions or any. So we need to make sure that like we only focus on the important or most frequent words or most important sentences and all. So it balances with predictions across both pro streaming and pro theater sentiment, reducing the bias and giving a stronger, more reliable model for audience classification. And regarding the final thoughts, like concluding all the analysis that we have done and findings, if we bring everything together, firstly, streaming and theaters are evolving in parallel, not necessarily at the expense of each other. And second, clustering and topic modeling showed that audiences care deeply about economic impacts, creative quality, and access. Third, decision trees provide transparent, understandable patterns in how people express their views. Fourth, SVM modeling proved highly effective at classifying sentiment and showed the need of flexible tools analyzing real world conversations, which is very, very messy because real world data is not like a clean version. Finally, combining multiple techniques allowed us to build much richer, more complete understanding of today's entertainment landscape. In conclusion, while streaming platforms continue to grow and offer incredible convenience, movie theaters remain essential cultural spaces that connect us in unique, powerful ways. Rather than choosing one over the other, the future likely belongs to a model that embraces both innovation and tradition. I hope this presentation is insightful. Thank you so much.